Welcome back to Ripple Effect Connection. I'm your host, Kristi Hujik. I am a Level 3 integrative health practitioner and a health and performance coach. This podcast is about connecting you with the messages and messengers that can truly change the trajectory of your health. I talk a lot about capacity and performance in what I do and the recipe for how we operate at our best, not by pushing harder, but by creating the conditions that allow the body to function, adapt, and heal. Today's episode is a powerful, forward-thinking conversation that brings all of that together. I'm joined by Dr. Sean Drake, Doctor of Chiropractic and founder of Moderne Athlete, a performance and recovery clinic rooted in a systems-based, human-first approach to the body. With years of experience working alongside professional athletes across the NFL, NBA, NHL, PGA TOUR, and beyond, Sean has seen firsthand that true performance doesn't come from force or intensity. It comes from regulation, alignment, and connection. At Moderne Athlete, Sean integrates chiropractic care, movement-based assessment, nervous system regulation, breath work, and mindset work to help individuals feel safe in their bodies, expand their capacity, and allow performance and healing to emerge naturally. In this episode, we explore what it means to treat the body as an integrated system, the central role of the nervous system in healing and resilience, and the profound power of breath work in restoring balance. Sean also brings two of his clients into the conversation live from his clinic, where they share real-world stories that highlight the mind-body connection and the meaningful shifts that occur when the body is supported rather than overridden. This conversation is for athletes, high performers, entrepreneurs, and anyone who feels stuck in overdrive and is ready to move toward a more aligned, resilient way of functioning. Let's dive in. Dr. Sean Drake, a big honor for me to have you here on the podcast. So thank you for taking time out of your busy schedule to come on.
Absolutely. Well, it's an honor to be here.
All the things that you do are just things that I talk about a lot every day, and you just happen to be the perfect person because you are the intersection of all of these, and you work with high-level athletes. But before we get into that, I want to talk to you about your why and why you do what you do.
I mean, I think that's a really good question. I think anytime that you are trying to, follow your dream or make an impact on this world, understand your why is really important. For me, I really tell people I connect science with soul now. And, my goal within myself, as well as the clients that I work with and the people that I coach, is allowing them to be safe in their body, deal with the trauma, whether that be physical, emotional, spiritual, energetic. And then through that, making the body limitless, understanding there are no limitations to life when you understand how to really accomplish whatever you want. And, I was involved with a major car accident, kept me from doing what I was wanting to do in life. Have had major blocks throughout my life that have said, hey, that's not the direction you're going, fought it. And then finally, when I started leaning into it, it led me to where we're at today.
Yeah, which is amazing. I mean, the clinic that you have, Moderne Athlete, you're combining so many things. So from what I've seen, and correct me if I'm wrong on this, but you're blending chiropractic care with recovery tools, but you're also integrating nervous system work. So can you talk about what the guiding principle is there at your clinic and how you kind of integrate and combine all of these things?
Yeah. So I mean, it's funny because most of my athletes or clients, they say, well, he's not really a chiropractor. And, chiropractic has driven the philosophy behind our clinic is that the body is self-healing. It just needs no interference. And, oftentimes people think, oh, chiropractic, you're back adjusted. Well, if you really look at the philosophy around chiropractic is a nervous system profession. Our goal is to optimize and improve and cleanse and clear interference in the body, whether that's physical, emotional, spiritual, energetic. And, what I've been able to do by bringing the biohacking world into the science world, into the shamanic side, into all of these different areas that I get to live in, into one area of, a centralized location is now I can take you as the client and say, okay, maybe you're coming in for back pain. And hey, by the way, that back pain is not back pain caused by where your back pain is. Maybe it's a physical limitation somewhere else in the body. Maybe it's the fact that you haven't dealt with emotion in your life, right? You have trauma. Maybe it's because you are doing something that you probably shouldn't be doing that's spiritual, that's keeping you from being the best version of you. And so these are all just check engine lights. And by being able to use modalities and look at the body as the modality and work on it with energy, with sound, with vibration, with light, with cold, with hot, now we can actually train that body to have a higher capacity of a nervous system so that way it can do more.
Yeah, and I mean that's what when I'm a health coach, I'm talking to clients, right? We're trying to get their I mean, we see the nervous system dysregulation all the time. Look, I've been through this because I was diagnosed with autoimmune, and the missing piece that I always see is we can do all the protocols in the world. If we don't address the nervous system, then it doesn't stick. They might feel better for a little while, but it doesn't stick. And I think with what you're combining, and I have a really good chiropractor here, and I have a friend who's a chiropractor, and they combine some modalities, but I feel like you're taking it to the next level. Can you describe also some of these things that you're integrating and how they kind of affect the body? And because there's going to be a lot of people that maybe don't even understand
Yeah.
cold and light. And I've done a lot of episodes on this, but not everybody hears all of those. So if you want to describe what some of those tools in your toolbox actually do to help you get performance out of athletes, that would be great.
Well, I think the biggest one when you're looking at anybody trying to heal and or perform is energy. And so, I'm a huge fan of PMF. I'm a huge fan of direct current. I'm a huge fan of anything that can create a cellular response in the body. And so if I can use high Gauss PMF and put it into the body to regulate energy up, I'm going to bring you up. If I'm going to, use high Gauss to bring you down, I'm going to regulate you down. So even just within using high Gauss, I can actually change the dynamics of how your body's responding and working. I can use direct current to, blow past pain pathways and actually train the body that, hey, that's not really an injured area. It's just an area that has a protection mechanism on it. And now I can actually blow through it and get you to actually do what I need you to do. Then I'm a huge fan of sound. Like, I'm sitting in Solo Dome right now. Every one of my clients goes through some type of sound therapy while they're in our clinic because vibration again, it all comes down to the cell. Well, your cells are going to vibrate at certain, vibrations. And if I'm going to be able to affect, like say you have stomach pain, neck pain, you've got something going on to where you're dysregulated. Well, I can use a sound bowl, which we do use in here, or I can use technology now where I just throw you in here and I can actually play that sound bowl frequency in there and calm your nervous system down. I can use tuning forks and then I use vibration. Like I think, for me, a lot of people tend to go too far on high vibration. So we use Juven in here in the beginning to create a stabilization through the nervous system with that micro vibration. Then moving in, I'm kind of going through my clinic, air and oxygen and CO2 are of things that I think that if you're really trying to make the body heal, you have to have, whether that's hyperbaric, whether you're using nano V, which is like an energized air, whether you're using CO2 to create a response in the body to say, hey, I want to be, more capable of healing with CO2 suits. Then you've got hydrogen, gas now, which I think is a huge thing when we look at healing and we look at like cellular response. Lymphatic, we use Flowpresso in our clinic. I'm a huge fan of lymphatic drainage. If you're not getting toxicity out of the body, you can bash it all day long, you can work on it, but if you're not truly moving that toxicity out of the body, that's a problem. Then you go into hypoxic training and like Vasper, where I'm using BFR, blood flow restriction with cryotherapy to basically trick the body into saying, hey, I'm doing 2 hours of stress in 20 minutes. Well, that's a more accessible workout for some people. It's less force on the body. And then when we look at tissue healing, we use the EQ Pro in here, which is a manual PMF device, as well as Shockwave. We've got, class 2 to 4, class 4 lasers in here. We got Shiftwave. We got Roxiva from a brain training. And I go, there's so many more other modalities that we use in the clinic on purpose, like cold exposure. I've got a Morosco in here because I need my cold plunge to be at 32 degrees. Because again, I'm not using it for recovery. I'm using it for nervous system training. I need your body to feel safe in chaos. And then saunas, right? Like I've got 3 different types of saunas that we use. And so there's different ways that I'm constantly working with my clients depending on what we got to accomplish.
Yeah, and I think that's a key, right? Is you have so many tools that, and I feel like this too sometimes. Like I have so many tools in my home and you can't do them all every single day. So what is the best way that you actually do determine what is appropriate for what athlete? And maybe if there's an example,
Yeah.
that you can share, maybe something like that would resonate with the people at home who are just like learning about this for the first time.
Well, give me an example. Like say you're coming to me. What are you trying to do? What's your goal?
So for me, I have nervous system dysregulation. And when I'm detoxing, right, I had to work on lymphatic drainage. Absolutely. 110%. If you have autoimmune, you have lymphatic drainage issue. They go hand in hand. You also, to me, no one I see with autoimmune. I've coached over 300 plus people with autoimmune. I've never seen a person with autoimmune not have lymphatic issues, not have nervous system issues. So let's just say I'm coming to you, either myself or someone else, with autoimmune issues. Like, how are we working? I also was an athlete. I'm not anymore, but
No, don't say that. If you have a body, you're an athlete. You're still an athlete. Come on.
I played sports in
Yeah.
college, and I wish I had, some of these tools, and I still like to perform. I still like to go to the gym. I still like to be able to be active. So those are the things I would come to you with. And then like, what would be the things you would start with, maybe would say me. I also have a great deal of neck issues, couple car accidents, lots of heading soccer balls in my lifetime, maybe an upper cervical spine that's not as stable as we'd like. So maybe those are some of the list of things that I come to you with.
So the first thing I would tell you is that, and this goes against what some people might think, right?
Hmm.
Like, I will tell you, you are not your diagnosis. You know what I mean? And, I have people all the time that come to me with POTS and they've been diagnosed with, some type of autoimmune issue. And I'm like, no, your body's just not safe. And your body's not safe, so it's not doing its job. So it's attacking yourself. So in reality, the first thing I got to do is say, hey, we got to get your body safe. We got to get you to feel safe in your body so your body can heal. And I think so often we try to be so aggressive, or we try to, look at one piece and try to tackle that. When in reality is the first thing I do is like teach you how to breathe, right? Let me get you into a regulatory breath pattern and, get you into a parasympathetic state. And then all of a sudden you're like, wow, I feel good. It's the biggest thing we have that's free. And if you really know how and learn how to breathe, like, you can do anything with your body. Then the second thing I would tell you is like, number two, I think a lot of people that have neck issues, especially from car accidents and whiplash and things like this, they don't ever look at their feet. So if you don't have stabilization from the ground up, you're never going to have stabilization in the top of the spine. So I would say, okay, let's see how your balance is. Start working on balance. You'd be amazed at what happens when you teach somebody how to breathe right and you teach somebody how to actually be stable from the ground. How much resolves in the human physiology of the body, just in those two things. Then I'd say, okay, cool. Where are you at? And like, what is your capacity on holding energy? And so I would test that. I'd put you on a high Gauss PMF. I'd put you on a max energy setting, and I would see what level I could get you up to out of 100, from 0 to 100. If you're below 50, know for a fact your body can't do its job, because your body can't even hold energy. It can't use energy, right? So why am I going to try to blow past that or tell you, hey, we need to go do all these extra things? No, I got to slow down and slowly work your body into safety, teach your cells how to actually be like functional again. And through that functionality is going to cause a detox. So then we're going to have to probably talk like minerals. We're going to have to talk, binders. We're going to have to talk gut health. And again, these are things that, I collaborate with people on. It's not like my passion, right? Like I really don't like talking poop. I don't like talking, a bunch of like supplementation. I'm like, hey, like I've got people for that. But then it's also like, where's your emotional standing?
Yeah, and that's what I've kind of done. I've had to integrate all of that. I've had to
Yeah.
integrate everything that you've said. Everything you've said has been part of it. And the chiropractor that I learned from a lot, Dr. Perry Nicholson, I don't know if you're familiar with him. He's called
Stop chasing food.
Yeah, and I mean, I learned from him, and I mean, feet. That's one of the things he talks about too. Like, you got to look at the feet. And he teaches you to look, again, not where the point of pain is, because it's usually coming from somewhere else. But I always notice, like, for instance, if I'm having a detox response, let's just say I am on a protocol and I'm having a response to that detox, it goes to my neck. So the
Mhm.
pain will always if my body's going through something,
Yeah.
it kind of goes to the weak spot. Do you
Well,
notice that sometimes too?
so I never use the word weak.
Mhm.
I don't use the word like, because to me it's a limitation. With
Right.
limitation, that we know that anything's possible, right? So anything in a subconscious low vibration verb or noun or communication, we don't use in this clinic. Because at the end of the day, if I say that, all of a sudden now it takes you into something where somebody told you were weak or you didn't think you were good enough or whatever this self-worth issue is, and it blocks us from being able to propel to the next level. So to me, it's not that it's weak, it's actually doing the most work, right? So it's probably one of your strongest areas, but it's where you're holding all your tension, energy, and like carrying all of that, the extra weight, right? I just had a client here earlier. She's a professional dancer and she's been with me for almost a year now. And when she came to me, there's a ton of stuff going on. Well, she's been on the road for 2 months dancing around the world. Came in today and was like, man, my hip hurts. And to me, like, I never go to the site of pain. I'm like, first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to get you into a calm state. I'm going to put you through a mini nervous system reset. Then I'm going to assess your body. And Resamax, which is something that I need to connect you on, is a tool that I use. And the reason I love it, it's not only a neurological tool, it's a soft tissue tool, it's a training device, and I can make the body parasympathetic, I can make it sympathetic, I can kind of play the body as I'm working on it. And something inside me just said, like, I'm going through her and I'm big on organs and organ, emotion and body code and everything else. And I got to her liver and it was just like nothing was moving. And I'm like, what are you so angry about? And she's like, I'm not. Oh, yeah, I am. And from there, I was able to do some neuro emotional release with her and moved it through. I started in her throat. So she's not speaking her voice, right? Well, then it moved to her shoulder, and then it moved to her chest, and then it got out of the body, and all of a sudden her hip felt better. And she looked at me and she's like, "This is why I come to you. Because, we don't just work a physical situation in here. We're working a mind, body, soul situation here." And there's a lot of cliches out there that say, "Oh, mind, body, soul." It's like this shit's real. Consciousness is real. And if you really want to be the best athlete, and by the way, if you have a body, you're an athlete. Life is a sport. You have to train like an athlete. So I get people all the time like, well, I don't want to come see you because I'm not an athlete. And I'm like, number one, you're probably a mom, a dad, a CEO. You probably have a business. You're probably, doing all these things. Life is athletic. So if you're not training that way, then you've already put a limitation on your capability of your process, of your opportunity. And so we got done with her. And then I've got two clients in here right now that I might actually I love doing this, by the way. If I do a podcast in the clinic and I have somebody here, I just throw them on. But I've got two clients in here right now that are friends of ours. One's in the entertainment industry, one's also in the industry. And, they both have two very unique stories. And how they got to us was because of what they're dealing with. And if they want to talk about it, I'll bring them on here in a second. But I really haven't touched their body. My wife has. She's done guided manual PMF with them. But for me, it's been a lot of training their nervous system to be safe, training their nervous system to let go, training their nervous system to have a higher capacity, from being exhausted to finally, Summer, over here.
Dee, dee, dee. I love it.
Alex, I'm pulling you on a podcast. Hold happy.
Hi.
Come
I
on.
love it. Hi.
Happy.
Welcome.
All right. Sit down,
Oh,
Alex.
thank you. Sit here.
Yep. All right. So these are two amazing ladies. And again, like when I do podcasts, like I can sit here and tell you about what we do in this clinic, or I can literally like show you what we do in this clinic, right?
I love it.
So when you found us, how did you find us first of all?
Well, I found Modern Athlete through Kiki, was diagnosed with brain cancer. I had a seizure, and after the seizure, many 20 plus tumors in my brain or lesions, and have been coming here for probably 6 weeks now, 8 weeks, and have been receiving treatment alongside, Western, also just non-traditional medicine, things that incorporate like the mind, body, and spirit, like really taking a holistic approach to feeling good. And so I'm super grateful because my results have been like remarkable. My doctor said remarkable in terms of my healing. And I think it has a lot to do with, everything that I'm doing to help support my health. So I'm very grateful, incredibly grateful, because I have no doubt that my results are as a result of everything that I'm doing. Yeah.
No doubt, no doubt. Especially with cancer, there's an emotional component to that. I've seen so many things happen in the holistic world with helping to heal from cancer. So I'm glad you're there and I'm glad you're getting that care.
Did I even tell you what my results are? I just had my MRI scan last Monday. And when they did my scan, I previously had 20 plus tumors and lesions, so many that they couldn't do radiation. And in my most recent scan, everything was completely gone except for one.
Wow.
And that mine has shrunk significantly. So I believe that you're right. It's like the mindset and also everything that you do to support your health.
Yeah, it's awesome. That's awesome.
Let's talk about you.
Oh, okay. I came because Alex is my friend, and we know Kiki, and Sean. So I had a SCAD heart attack, about a year and a half ago. It's a spontaneous coronary artery dissection, from stress, the rare heart attack that women get in their 30s to 50s. And I know that I've needed to like calm my nervous system and chill out. And I don't want to cry. Place has really helped me. Modern Athlete has really helped me, like, just like chill out. And like this dome that I'm sitting in is like my favorite. And you feel like you're in this like warm blanket and just like safe.
Safe, yeah.
Yeah. And it's just been great.
Well, that's awesome. That's really awesome that you have that you have that ability to do that. And obviously, so thankful that Sean and Kiki are able to bring this type of care to people, because the biggest thing I see is that there's a lot of options out there, and it's beyond, Western medicine. And there's a lot of athletes that I think used to think about surgeries were the first option. And now the way things are, it should be the last. And the same with these treatments, like you can do so much. So I'm just glad that you both found this place and that you're having the success that you are. It's awesome.
Thank you. Yeah. And I was going to say too, like I had an open heart surgery, like I had a bypass.
Yeah.
When I went back to get all my results and do the things, they were like, your bypass didn't work, but you're alive and it's working. So I'm like, just so grateful that I'm here and to be able to do these modalities and different things, because it's like a miracle, honestly.
It's awesome. That's awesome. I'm really happy for you guys.
Thank you.
Well, thank you, ladies.
Yeah, thank you. You're the best.
Yeah,
You and
honestly.
Kiki are just little angels.
Well, we love you guys.
So
Thank you. I appreciate your
Thank you.
That was awesome. That was awesome. What great results, Sean. You must
At the end
that
of the
must
day,
fill your cup too, to be able to
it
help
definitely
people.
does. But on the other side of it too is like when they first came in, I said, hey, like, I'm not going to touch you for a few visits. Like, you got to let me just show you that your body's safe. And like, that's what's so great about modalities and certain techniques is that, sometimes we want to play God as professionals. And we feel like, oh man, we have to have our hands on this person and to like make a miracle happen. When in reality, like they are the miracle, right? Like their body just has to say, look, I'm safe. And I said this in the beginning of the podcast. The minute that I can teach your body that safety is there, like that's when I can do anything I want to do with you. Like that's truly when I can turn the dimmer switch back up. That's truly when I can say, okay, now I can push you a little bit here. Now I can start to make things happen, because I'll give you a prime example. Athlete A and athlete B, both pitchers, both phenomenal. Or let's just take them both, for example. I take them both and I assess them right off the bat. They come to my clinic, I put them through an on-base use screen, and I'm like, okay, these are your physical limitations. I take athlete A and I put him through my nervous system reset. And then I put athlete B and I just do what I do. I work on him. I do whatever I need to do. Athlete A, I reevaluate. 3/4 of those physical limitations are gone because the emergency brakes that we're holding on are no longer there. So I actually get to the truth of what might physically be affecting that athlete versus, yeah, it's cool. Okay. Yeah. It shows that you have a physical limitation. So I'm going to treat that physical limitation. But how many of those physical limitations were just red flags or like false positives?
Mm-hmm.
And so I tell all my clients, I'm like, look, I may not even touch you for 1 to 3 visits, like treatment wise on the body. because I'm going to do so many other things, and you're still getting body work, but I'm just using energy and frequency and vibration. And like through that, now I'm getting to the truth of what may actually be keeping you from being your best.
Yeah, it's so awesome and enlightening. But I think the thing that I struggle with sometimes is, I don't know if you have those people that come to your clinic, but you know what I'm talking about, when just people can't see the energy, the sound, the frequency, and they just don't want to, like, they don't. I've had people poo poo the emotion code and the body code, and having done that, and I did that, and I think I have a great practitioner that helps me with that. I think it's a wonderful thing. So how would you speak to maybe the folks again who aren't maybe just into this? Like, a lot of people see this as woo. A lot of
Yeah.
people see it as woo, and it's not real, and we can't touch it, so it doesn't exist.
So there's two things. Like, do you believe in God? Right? I'm a faith-based guy, but not everybody believes in God. But then I say, do you believe in a higher power? And they're like, yeah. So actually, this is the question I ask every person when they come in here. I'm like, number one, I'm a genie, and you get three wishes. How do I get to help you? Then I ask you, especially on my 3-day intensive, I'm like, do you believe in God? Yes or no? If they say yes, awesome. Then I say, okay, great. Do you believe in yourself? Yes or no? They say yes, great. Then I know I can actually work. If they say no and no, then I've got to show them opportunity within themselves throughout the process. And this is where I don't care if you believe in it or not. That's not my job. My job is to hold space for you to see it within yourself. And not every patient's going to be my patient. And I'm okay with that. Like, I'm actually getting to a point now where I'm like, I don't care if you don't want to come here. I'm attracting people that really want to change their lives. And I'm only taking it, like, you can't just call and get in our clinic. Like, come January, it's an application based to come here, because we have so many people that want to actually come in for 3 and 5-day intensives and truly change their life. And so at the end of the day, like, you can go down the road and get adjusted. You can go down the road and get dry needling, acupuncture, naturopathic. I'm cool with that. But if you truly want to be the best at whatever you're trying to accomplish, then you definitely want to be here. And so at the end of the day, like, I'm done chasing people. I'm done trying to convince people. Like, that's not my job anymore. My job is creating an environment of safety and opportunity. And for the ones that walk through this door, like, they're going to see that anything's possible, because there's no other choice once you really start to do the work.
And I want to go back to your first step, which is the breath work. And, I'll share a quick story for everyone on the podcast. Is Dr. Sean was I think you were at TPI too. You were doing the TPI conference, was like at the same time as the Equal Life conference. And my worlds were combining in sports media. All these people that I knew through the golf world were in the same building. And then you came over and you did a breathwork session that I still to this day tell people about, because I'll make the story short, because it was a pretty lengthy breath session here. And at the end of it, we're all standing in a circle and we're all holding hands. And as we're standing there, I'm feeling myself cry. And I'm like, oh my God, like, I'm going to bawl right now. And I was pretty new to this stuff at that point. I'd work with an energy healer, but this was a little different. And I kind of cracked my eye open and I realized that everyone was crying. It was one of the most powerful things. So I think if you can give anyone tips about how they can kind of start this type of thing, because this breathing is so important, but what exercises or how would you have people get started in breath work?
Well, number one, I tell people, especially with the breath work that I did with you as a group, it's called conscious connected breathing. And, I had a specific playlist that I made for that group of people, and the energy and the frequency of the music is going to take you through roller coasters. I tell people to be very careful about doing that on your own. You need to have someone to be able there to hold space, to hold that energy. And when I say holding space, some people on the podcast might not understand this. Doing true therapy work, or you're doing any type of major workout, and you're going to push yourself to the edge. It's why we have spotters in lifting, right? Holding space is a spotter for your soul, like, or your body or your mind, right? And you need to have someone there to hold space in case you crack open and you go into a spiral or you don't know how to control it, or you just need someone there to say, "Hey, like, you're safe." Just feel it, like, feel that emotion. And I tell people, don't fight the feeling. Like, if you fight the feelings that are inside you, you're just going to create friction, or you're going to move it somewhere else. If you truly feel that emotion, now you can start to truly heal that emotion. You can start to heal that part of you. But I think for the average person wanting to get into breath work, I mean, there's so many unique things that you can do. Like, number one, everyone talks about box breathing, right? Like my dad was special forces, 4 in, hold, 4 out, hold, 4 in, hold, 4 out, hold. Like, box breathing is really good when you're looking at a state of just getting calm, trying to be present, and creating a cyclical opportunity in your mind. I personally love 6 seconds in the nose, 6 seconds out the nose in a seated position. And you can do it laying down too. But I think if you're in a seated position, your legs are crossed, you're erect, you're in a good tall spine. If you look at Kundalini, you look at yoga, you look at a lot of the top people, the reason that we need the spine in a very, erect position is because we need that energy to move from the head to the sacrum. And so as you're breathing and you're breathing in that energy and that oxygen, you're bringing down the body, and then you're bringing it back up and you're bringing it out of the body. And while you're in that 6 seconds in, 6 seconds out, is you're starting just doing that, right? But then I like to add humming in on the other side because we're affecting
Yeah.
the vagus nerve, right? So now we're
Yeah.
creating a vagal tone, we're creating a vagal response. So that's one of my favorites that I give a lot of people. Then I'll tell people, like, if you need to or you want to, you can start getting into more somatic breath work. You can get into holotropic or conscious connected, like I talked about a minute ago. And there's a ton of playlists online. One thing that I just personally am very conscious about is that when you have something on YouTube or you're listening to something, you don't know the subliminal side of what somebody's put online.
Yeah.
So be very careful, right? Like, and that may sound conspiracy theory, but it's real. Like, I can make a playlist and subliminally put things in there that you don't even realize that can affect your consciousness. So if you're trying to get into breath work, I would say look up a somatic breath work person locally, like, that can really be there, that not only that, but you trust. Like, when you're
Hmm.
doing breath work or you're doing something to the extreme, you're opening yourself up in vulnerability. And at the end of the day, if you've had past traumas of maybe domestic violence, and I'm only going to say this, 'cause I think this is relevant to a lot of athletes, female athletes especially, that might have had sexual assault, like, you need to be safe with the person that's taking care of you. And I take care of a ton of female athletes. And I'm not even amazed anymore. It's sad how many of these female athletes have had situations with men that I have to be very mindful of in my clinic. And I'm grateful that I got my wife and I've got a whole female staff because they're able to hold space in some of these situations where all of a sudden it sparks a trigger. And so when you're doing breath work, stuff's going to come up. But breath work, in my opinion, is the number one way to really, like, I did breath work last night in my breath work studio here that I taught at for 3 years, Breath Energy in Tempe. Jake and Kim got me into the conscious connected side of breathing. Wim Hof, Casper, one of his main guys back in 2016, I helped him get his education started over here back in the day, like getting him into different groups. If you're looking to work out, like in the mouth, out the mouth, like really try to get that guttural solar plexus going. That's one of your most powerful breaths that you can do. Like, sometimes they call it lion's breath. So, like, really opening up. So if you look at the Haka, New Zealand, rugby, everything's, oh, the Haka is just this like warrior. No, it is. I mean, it is energy movement, right? It's meant to intimidate. It's meant to activate the warrior from within.
All right.
So, breathwork can be really powerful. It's one of the most amazing tools. Like, every single room that we have here has a different breath to it. Like, no matter where you're at working with me, you are breathing in a certain style and certain way.
I just see so much nervous system dysregulation on a day-to-day basis that we got to keep, kind of beating the drum of talking to people about. They don't really understand necessarily how to calm their system, or sometimes don't even understand how dysregulated it is. I had a client the other day and she said, she didn't feel as if she has a nervous system issue. And I'm like, do I
Yeah.
want to work with can I do this? So then I got to have a conversation that just points out some things she said. I can't eat food X. I can't take supplement X. I can't do this at night. I can't go get my blood drawn because I have a thing about blood. Like, this is a person who doesn't feel safe in her body.
Yeah.
Right?
Well, I mean, here's the coolest thing is like, there's a lot of vagal nerve stimulators out there now. The one that I'm a huge fan of is Zenbud. So these are two things. If you have a nervous system dysfunction, every one of my patients gets these. One's a Resemax, and I can help you put a code and get you connected. Resemax is not just a soft tissue tool. It's a vagus nerve stimulator. It can put you in parasympathetic. It's got tons of different ways you can affect the body. This is the first ever ultrasound vagal nerve stimulator. A lot of the vagal nerve stimulators out there right now are electrical based. And so you've got to put them here, along the, carotid. You got to put them on the ear.
On the ear, yeah.
People can't handle electricity. And so it actually creates a sympathetic response when they're trying to get a parasympathetic, thing. So what's cool about this, they've got single and double. I honestly am a huge fan. They're just launching these. This is a double stimulation. And so when it goes in the ear, it goes through the auricular point, just like acupuncture. And you plug it in, you feel a little bit of buzzing, but like it drops me in like that within 5 minutes. And what's cool about this is that, one, it's easy to travel with. It's run off a battery pack that I just plug into. So when I look at like nervous system training at home with your clients that are coaching, like, hey, I can't go do all these modalities. Number one, I put this on them. I put them into 6 seconds in the nose, 6 seconds out the nose, and they're in parasympathetic within 5 minutes.
Love it.
Then they can, especially people that have, gut issues. They've got different types of dysregulation. I put this on them, boom, done. Autistic kids, between this and sound, huge.
Yeah.
This, I just put this on green. I put it on the chest, especially like, people that are restless, can't, do whatever, put it on them, calms them down immediately. Post game, I have them do what I call my body wash program, done.
Yes. You use the PEMF to, like, I have a Pure Wave. Have you heard of Pure Wave?
Yep.
So I've got the Pure Wave, and sometimes like you can put it on the Vitality to increase that performance, but you got to also then come back after and bring yourself back down. And I've seen the results from that, but it was funny because when I first got on it, I felt like I was dysregulated. Like I had to turn the level. It took me a while to get up to where I needed to be. But I think some of these tools are very important because if everything's an active thing that someone has to do, I think you got to have a combo, right? Breathing exercise is great, but we also have to have a combo of things where they can put these things on and some of the work gets done, for them to help them, right? So I want to be respectful of your time, Dr. Sean, but I really appreciate you coming on and talking about all this stuff. I know I could talk to you for hours about all this stuff because I'm just fascinated by it, but I'm also so grateful that there's so much of this out there to help people now. So I hope you keep shining your light. If you want, before you go, I want you to just let people know where they can reach out or read about your clinic or apply. If you want to let everyone know how to get in touch with you, that'd be awesome.
Yeah, Dr. Sean Drake on Instagram. You can look at PMF Pilates. That's my wife. Modern Athlete. Obviously follow TPI, Titleist Performance Institute, On Base U, Racket Fit. And there's so many other, companies and organizations that I work with. EQ FluxWave, like definitely follow them. That's our high Gauss PMF along with our, manual PMF that you can work at home. But we can do a part 2 to this and we can dive deeper into some different areas, do some case studies. It'd be fun to really start to understand. Maybe we do a series, like we say, okay, we're going to do a series on blank and then we're going to do a series on blank. Like I with your audience, I have no problem doing that with you.
That would be awesome. Yeah, I think everyone would really enjoy it. And I think, season 3 is themed of my podcast is themed, Why Are You Stuck? Because, it's teaching people to look places they haven't looked before, so I think this would fit in really good. And I'd love to have you back. So I look forward to that if you'll come back.
Yeah, I say, let's just do the next episode we do is like, why are you stuck? And let's go through the philosophy of Modern Athlete and how to unstuck yourself.
Sounds good. Thank you, Sean.
All right. Thank you so much, Kristi.
That's a wrap for this episode of Ripple Effect Connection. If you enjoyed this podcast, I'd love to hear from you. You can find me on Instagram, Facebook, and TikTok at Whole Health Kristi. That's WHOLEHEALTHKRISTI. Let me know what resonated most with you or what you'd even like to hear about in future episodes. You can always find full show notes and past episodes at kristihujik.com/podcast. And if this conversation was helpful, please take a moment to like, follow, review, or share the podcast with someone who could benefit. A quick review on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or YouTube goes a long way in helping me continue bringing you meaningful conversations like this one. Stay tuned for the next episode of Ripple Effect Connection. Together, let's create waves of change.